Who is with Vinny Fiorenza? There's a lot he doesn't know. There's a lot he wants to know. This is a podcast where he tries to learn from people who know things he doesn't. He'll be focusing on people from the worlds of business, entertainment, and the arts. His guests are people he finds fascinating and that he believes will bring value to others. Join him on the journey on finding out who is.
Very honored and proud to be a New Yorker here in California. When I graduated high school, in that time in Brooklyn, you went right to work. College was never discussed in my family. And the next thing I know, I'm sitting on the Upper East Side, drinking scotch with Burt Young in a pouring rainstorm in my car. Yeah. And he agreed to do the film. And if anyone wants an opportunity to have a voice, to come in and do something maybe they never wanted to do before, that's what our studio is about.
We are here with Anthony Gigante. This is actually his studio that we're in today. Happy to be sitting here with you, rocking and rolling. How you feeling, Anthony?
Vinny, it's an honor to be with you. It took a while, and I apologize.
No worries.
But usually I'm the one doing the interviewing, and today I'm happy to be in the other chair. So thank you for that.
Well, we're both grateful to be here, but thank you again. It means a lot that you're here with us today. I always like to start off with all of our guests explaining, like, where are you from? Give us the origin story of Anthony.
Vinny, I am from downtown Bensonhurst, and people say, is there a downtown Bensonhurst? And there is, because I'm from the streets of Bensonhurst, Brooklyn, right on the outskirts of Coney Island, and proud of it, even more so as I get older, proud of my heritage. I always kind of tried to hide it at certain points of my life.
You can't.
I can't.
No.
So I gave up. I'm proud that I rose from that area, which is a beautiful area.
Yeah, that's where I'm from too. I was about Bay 10th, Bay 14th.
I know, Bay 10th, Bay 14th. I'm Bay 40th and Cropsey. Yeah. So we were probably rivals at one point without even knowing it, because every block had its own little group, right? But I'm proud to, that is part of my heritage, and I'm very honored and proud to be a New Yorker here in California.
That's awesome. But back in New York, when you were a little younger, when you were in high school, say, how would your friends describe you?
Fat little chubby kid. I was always the butt of the jokes because I was the youngest guy.
Oh yeah.
And that was the way they showed their love for you.
But
these days they call it bullying, right? But it wasn't bullying. It made us stronger. Either made you stronger or destroyed your self-esteem.
Yeah.
Fortunately, did a little bit of both for me, but it made me a little stronger. And I realized after the years that it's just a great place to grow up, because you get the truth from people. Yeah. Whether it's coming from their insecurity or it's coming from whatever it's coming from, you get the truth from them. And then you decide, whoa, maybe I need to do some different things and work harder or whatever I want to do, right?
No, I definitely understand that. It's a lot of grit and grind, and it's interesting community. Like, what's it mean to you to be from there?
I wish I can go back to the days, as everyone does, when you grew up, because it was great times. There was never things were said. Your word meant something. There was honor. I mean, now we would also call it a gang. We used to hang out on a street corner, right? But we weren't a gang in the sense of the gang definition today. Yeah. We were a bunch of guys, probably no direction at the time, just playing Chinese handball, which is what they used to call it at that time. No offense to our Asian friends. Johnny on the Pony, you name it. We played street games, stickball. And you showed up. And you also got home on time, without a cell phone, without anything. You always made sure you knew you got home on time. So there are a lot of rules growing up that formed some discipline and structure that you knew you didn't want to break, right? And that was a blessing to live at that time, in that time.
Nice. Yeah, I appreciate that. Like, I know at least, like, my culture and, like, from there, like, family's a lot. What did family mean to you both growing up and, like, as you developed?
Family is everything. I mean, it was. I look back and I have to say, and I say this with affection, we were a very dysfunctional family. Most middle-class Italian-American families were, right?
You have to be.
There was always a lot of stuff going on in the house.
They call it a malatia. That's like the sickness.
Very true. There was a lot of stuff going on that you look back and say, man, how did I survive that? And you did. Because you didn't. Your family was strong enough to survive it. Right?
No, I hear that. So speaking of that, you your last name is Gigante.
Mm-hmm.
So any relation to the chin?
Well, I usually don't answer that question, and I'll say in my generation, no, but in my grandfather's, yes. And
Okay.
I believe it was a cousin thing. But speaking about that, because it's interesting you bring that up, because even living in Bensonhurst at the time, it was an Italian neighborhood and Irish, I guess, at the same time. But the men that were there looked after the neighborhood and made sure that it didn't get past a certain point, and there was, again, a street rule, a street law that it was always followed, and it was a very safe neighborhood, as opposed to, unfortunately, some of the neighborhoods now in our present time where there's no honor anymore. And when you mentioned Mr. Gigante from Sullivan Street, he also ran it that way as well. Like, he was supposedly the boss, so they say. I don't know. He was walking around in his bathrobe. He wasn't all there a lot of times, but there was a lot of honor in the neighborhood, and people felt safe.
Yeah, it was protected.
Protected, protected is a good word.
Different culture, very, very, very unique to that specific zone. When did you get your first job, and what was that? Yeah, I want to get up to this point.
Then you're looking at the king of no direction when he was young.
Oh yeah,
no
let's
direction
hear it.
whatsoever. When I graduated high school in that time in Brooklyn, you went right to work. College was never discussed in my family.
Gotcha. Yeah.
It wasn't an educational driven household.
That's
you know what I mean? Get a job and find out what you want to do. And so I got my first job in a company called Advest, which is in the financial district.
Okay.
Had no idea what I was doing. Had no idea what my role was, and still to this day I don't know what I did.
That's great.
And that's the first job that I got released from, I'll say, because I was lost.
Yeah.
And most of my years in youth were lost because I didn't know where I wanted to go, what I wanted to do. Thought getting a job was the be-all, end-all.
Yeah. And
of course, we know differently now, but, it can be. But we know a little differently now.
Yeah. Definitely doesn't hurt to have a job.
It doesn't hurt to have a job.
Yeah. After that gig, would you end up deciding to choose as your career path?
Well, I still didn't have one. And my uncle, thank God, my Uncle John, owned a printing company called Precision Printers. And he gave me a job there. And I was kind of running the place to a degree with the manager of the place. Then he opened up a stationery store called Arista Stationery in New York City. Okay. And before Staples and these big conglomerate stationery online stores came along.
Like the show The Office.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. It's like the show The Office, exactly. And I worked there. And that's when my creativity started to perk up a little bit. Okay. We did something in New York called retail theater. And retail theater was, during lunchtime, we would bring in actors and actresses and singers and have them sing in the window of the store. So they would, at lunchtime, people would be out to lunch and be walking by and getting a little show for an hour. That was a gentleman, Steve Sawyer, with a company he used to have called Performing Artists Diversified. And I was his second hand, or I was his right hand at the time. And it was a lot of fun because I started to get the bug about entertainment.
Okay, there we go.
And not knowing what I wanted to do, but I loved it. And very quickly, if I may.
Yeah, go, please. This is your time.
All right. When I was in fifth grade, right, I used to walk to school every morning. I was in Most Precious Blood Elementary School. I dig that. Right?
I love all those names.
Me too.
Out there.
I don't know how they must pull them out of a hat and match up the names together. I don't know how they do it. But anyway, I used to stop at church every day in the morning on my own.
Yeah.
And sit in 7:30 Mass, and then I'd go to school. I'd sit in the front of the class with my hands folded, straight A student, always raising my hand to answer the questions. One day I accidentally made a joke. The classroom laughed. I looked around and I said, "What is that? I love this." That day, being a straight A student, my grades plummeted to a C-, and I was sitting in the back of the class being the class clown from that day on. And I did that every year of school after that, including high school.
Oh, my God.
Because I loved the attention. I didn't know what that was. It was like, oh, my God, people are laughing at me. I like this feeling. It was like a rush going through my body, So education.
It's interesting looking back on that, like now.
It came to me 5 or 6 years ago. It was a pivotal point in my life because I realized that I thought I was never academically inclined. And I thought maybe there's something wrong with me. but I just never turned me on.
Yeah.
Never turned me on.
Yeah, I mean,
Joking and entertaining turned me on.
what was the next step, like, in regards to, like, staying in that entertainment route?
I suppressed it, Vin.
Oh, you did?
Because I didn't have the confidence to take the beatings that these great people that we meet, these actors and these singers and these comedians, I didn't have the strength or the guts to deal with the rejection part of it.
Yeah.
And that's why to this day I embrace them all, because I'm
Same.
amazed at I know you do. I know you do.
Yeah.
We need to tell what you do as well. I'm sure you have in other episodes, but I embrace them because I'm so honored and so turned on by their courage, and that excites me. And so I became more of a mentor, more of a opportunity giver, as I had opportunities to give these chances to people. You know.
So it's something that you did work on with giving, I guess, people in your hometown and others that like that in entertainment is you had the film you worked on, Cugini. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had the pleasure of watching it.
Yeah, and I loved yours
great.
too. I mean, that's why you and
thank
I mean, we have very similar, we have
Yeah.
a lot of commonalities. For the first day I met you, you reminded me of me.
Oh, thank
When
you.
you were about to produce your film.
Yeah, yeah.
And the first day we met, you came into our studio here and you did a podcast with after the film was completed,
Yeah.
with your DP Anthony and Francesco.
Francesco. He's
Sorry,
Italian.
Sorry, Italian, yes. Francesco, I'm sorry. And it was a great podcast, and you resonated what I felt when we were doing this great project. Now, Cugini,
Yeah, tell us about it.
my whole life has been what I call successful accidents. At the time when Cugini was in its infancy stage, my cousin...
What year was this, too, just to give a reference?
It started around 1998.
Cool.
And my cousin John Gigante, who is not my cousin, my brother, he and I have a relationship that's unbelievable. He's one of the greatest guys on the earth. And Rick Bertoldo wrote the film, and they were trying to get it produced. And I'm watching them do this, and they weren't asking me, and I was getting really pissed that, why don't they ask me to help? Because I can help. And they finally did, and I embraced it, obviously. But then in 6 months, I raised almost $700,000.
What the hell?
I couldn't believe it. I was working, I forgot where I was working at the time, but I was connected to News Corps, a great man named Tony Frigetti, and he introduced me to Cliff Akins, who introduced me to all these other people that just were digging what we were doing, and they were investing money in our LLC. So we were able to raise the money and then go into production. We originally wanted the comedian Pat Cooper to play the grandfather, and Pat accepted. And Pat was a very funny comedian. He's since passed, God bless him, and he's a genius of himself, which is what he calls himself as well, a genius of myself. And he wanted to do it, but the first day of shooting in Staten Island at a hospital, which I forgot the name, it's not open anymore. But
St. Vincent's?
It might have been St. Vincent's. It might have been, but
I don't know. I don't think that's open.
It was haunted, though. It was haunted. It was a ghost.
Everywhere in Staten Island's haunted.
But the first day of shooting, Pat walked down on us.
Oh, wow.
So I had to call all the investors and say, guys, here's what happened. We'll give you the money back. We spent a little, but we have most of it. We'll give it back.
I know you had a good replacement.
Well, we actually ended up with a great replacement, and they invested more money in it, and we ended up getting Burt Young.
Wow.
Mario Bosco, who everyone knows Mario Bosco.
He's popular on social media. He's all over the place now.
I love Mario Bosco. Mario Bosco has... watts bigger than basketballs, and he just started to call people, and we called the actor studio, got Burt Young's phone number, and the next thing I know, I'm sitting on the Upper East Side, drinking scotch with Burt Young in a pouring rainstorm in my car, and he agreed to do the film, and then we finished it like you finished yours. We finished the movie, which is the accomplishment. That's the accomplishment,
Yeah, I totally understand.
It's a lovely film. CuginiTheMovie.com. If you ever could find it, I think you'll love it.
Yeah, it was a great movie, especially being a New Yorker.
Thank you.
It felt good. It was
it's a
in
New
the
York
time.
romantic comedy.
Yeah, it's like nostalgia too. Now it is.
Now it is.
Yeah,
None of those
which is
places
cool.
we had locations are no longer there.
Yeah, it's impressive. You're in LA. When did you make your way out here? And why, for that matter?
It's a great question, because when I finished the film, we rented the equipment from a company called Bexell.
Okay.
At the time, Bexell, a big rental house. So when I brought the equipment back, I had no prospects. I had nothing. I don't know what I was going to do. They offered me a job at Bexell, New York, for $55,000 a year to be their outside salesman. I said, definitely, I'll take it. I didn't know what they did, what I was supposed to do, and it took me a while to get rolling there, but I got rolling there.
Yeah.
And guys like Johnny McNamara and Mike King, who are still friends of mine to this day, were working with them. And I started getting into it, and it started making some fun. I still didn't know the how much more there was to do there. And then one day, another influential person in my life, Doug Cam, wanted me to join a company called VER in the New York office, which stands for Video Equipment Rentals, which is an upstart company at the time. And I said yes. So Doug brought me over. Yeah. I started working there for 2 or 3 years, and then I got the call by the owner, Vince Dundee, to come out to work out in L.A. And I packed my family up like the Beverly Hillbillies. We moved out. It was my wife and daughter at the time, now divorced. And we moved out here in the middle of her 6th grade year, and we started something in California. And that was back in 2007.
Oh, wow. Okay. You've been out here a little while. Where'd you end up first? Like, where was your first...
place that we lived?
Yeah. Which
moved
area?
Up here to Santa Clarita.
You've been in
Santa? Moved to Valencia. We lived in Valencia my whole time. My ex-wife found it, and she did a great job. And we lived up here. And then I had to really start my career all over again. The first day I walked into the VER office, the HR person, I won't mention her name, but she's a friend anyway. Now she's a friend. I walked in and said, "Hi, I'm Anthony. I haven't met you before. Where's my desk?" He says, "Well, the cool people sit over there. You're sitting way over there." That was the first day of my introduction to Los Angeles. So I sat in the corner, and I began developing, without knowing anyone here in L.A., knew no one, and established myself in L.A. and have an amazing career now.
Spent a lot of time at a company called PRG. Tell us a little bit about the development there, what your position was there, and like what went on at the company.
After many years of VER, they were owned kind of by the same bank, as far as I understand. Okay. And they decided that it was better for them to be under one roof because they have more services to offer than separate, and they were also in kind of competition. So that was hurting the revenue targets, I guess, for both companies. PRG and VER. So VER merged into PRG. So I went over to PRG and had to start all over again because I was...
So what does the company do exactly?
PRG stands for Production Resources Group, and PRG is basically a very cool technology company that rents equipment but also provides cutting-edge technology to events like concerts. We do every major touring concert going on presently, TV film, which we brought over to PRG, which they didn't have yet, so it was a whole new revenue-generating division that was brought over to the company that merged with all the other divisions as well. So they basically do a lot of corporate work. They do mostly all Broadway, now TV film, and touring and all kinds of concerts and cool stuff. It's a great company.
What was your role there, though?
I started as my role became vice president of business development for TV film. Wow, and it's
a lot of words.
It's a lot of words. Good. And it barely fits on a business card.
No.
But I am old school like you are, Vin, and my title means really nothing to me.
I feel you.
If I have to throw gear in my car and get it on a job site, I do it because it's about the customer. And then I began to really find myself at PRG.
How has it affected, not only you say you started to find yourself there, but like affected your network and like I guess your, work processes and all things like that?
It's a great question because I found myself there, really found myself as a person there. Everything kind of came together at once, confidence, ability. Being around newer people, I realized that, I do have talent. I do have something to offer. And in the last 6 years that I've been there, I've taken off, like personally, and I'm not bragging by saying that. It's something I can't even control.
I've even seen a ton of growth in the past year and a half we've known each other.
Thank you, Ben, thank you. And I'm a very big believer in, I still cold call to this day because I love it. Yeah. And because I reframe my mind about everything in my life, and when I apply it to business, I reframe my mind and saying, I can't wait to see when I call, say, Vinny, and Vinny doesn't know I'm going to call him, what's going to happen from that? Yeah. How's our relationship going to grow? And that turns me on. And more than
I'm the same way with that specifically.
I know you are. I know you are. I know you could relate to that. And I end up meeting and having relationships with people I never thought I would ever have before. And I've amassed over about 80,000 contacts in my where I hire someone to manage them.
I thought I was a networking junkie. You topped me, man.
I like to collect
tenfold.
now. I mean, I can find anyone, and now I believe my role in life is to be generous with younger people and show them that, here's what you can do, not what you should do, because I would never say that to anyone. Here's what you can do, and you may get really good results out of something like that, and that's the position that I'm in now in my career, which I can tell you why that happened, but you have some great questions to ask me, and I don't want to divert from your roles here.
Well, from what I gained from your experience at PRG and other places that you've worked, you've developed these contacts, I guess even the confidence to open up a studio like this. We're Podcast SCV, which is a growing and developing studio. What sparked it? Tell us, what sparked the decision to make, open up this studio?
It's a really great question, and I'm really happy to tell because it really means a lot to me. I've been blessed with a great deal of energy. I mean, I'm getting old now.
No.
But, no, seriously, but I am more energy and more vitality than I've ever had in my life.
Nice.
And God has blessed me with great health, and I'm able to look younger than I am, which I'm not going to say how old I am, but I love to look younger than I am. But to answer your question, energy has something to do with it. During the pandemic, obviously things quieted down a little bit, so I said, I got to do something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't sit around. I got to do something. And I thrived during the pandemic. I mean, I was very fortunate. So I started driving Lyft for a couple of reasons. One, I needed deductions because I was single. And being single in Los Angeles, if you make a certain amount of money, you're screwed. So you got to figure out a way you're going to be able to save on taxes legitimately and honestly. So I started driving Lyft because I can get a lot of deductions out of Lyft, right? What happened there was extraordinary because the people that would get in the car with me, mostly young people, would never went through this adversity before, a pandemic, where their lives were uncertain all of a sudden. They didn't know what was going to happen next, if they were going to have a job, whatever, So I started listening to these people. And then one young lady in particular, and I had to be very careful, and I was always very careful with this, but one person in particular, she came in the car, she was really down, and she said, I can't believe what's going on, and I can't go back to school. I'm 2 months away from graduating, but I can't pay my loan because I'm not making any money, and they won't let me finish because, it was all a chain of reaction of nonsense, in my opinion, not injustice. It's $1,500, so I paid a loan.
Get out of here.
Yeah, then I walked away because I have to be very careful, especially if it doesn't matter, man or woman.
Yeah, I understand.
You have to be just very
saying.
careful because I don't want anyone to think that I'm looking for something, and I wasn't. The agenda was kindness and kindness only. Then all of a sudden, something inside of me started to explode, and I started seeking out people who needed help, and they found me. And it wasn't always financial. It was connecting them with people to get them a job. It was helping them. I paid people's rent during COVID. I just started to become this philanthropist without any money. You know what I mean? Like it was bizarre.
Been there.
I'm still there. It was bizarre and crazy. So then I decided to create a podcast called Our Fighting Spirit. And Our Fighting Spirit...
Yeah, we need to hear about it.
This is a very important step in why I have the studio. Mm-hmm. Our Fighting Spirit became a vehicle where I would give people a voice, where I would interview them like you're interviewing me today.
Yeah.
And I chose people that had tremendous adversity in their life, and they would tell me their story, and their family came on. They would tell me the pain and the stuff that was going on in their life. And then I would find them help, whether it be financial, legal, medical, psychological, whatever. And I was doing that out of my house, and I hated the way it looked after a while, because you know the way it goes. Yeah. When you start, it's great, but then you say, oh, my refrigerator's in the background, and then it means something, right? So I said, I got to find a way to do this in a studio. So I looked in Santa Clarita. I said, there's a studio that's in town. And I was going to open up a studio already with my cousin, John Manzi. We were talking about doing this for a while. And I came and introduced myself to the owner, Brandon Maddox, who was a very sweet young man who owned the studio before. And when I got here, I realized that, I was going to open up my own studio, and I told him this, but I said, Brandon, after what you've done here, I don't want to compete with you. I don't want to create a bad energy against what you started already. So I'm just going to rent your studio from my show and do it here.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Okay.
2 months later, I get a call from Brandon saying, you were so kind to me. You were so kind and not wanting to hurt me.
Right.
I want to
Yeah.
sell the studio, and I thought of you first. So I bought the studio.
Nice.
With John's help. John's a partner. We bought
Yeah.
the studio. And not knowing what we were getting into, because you think this little small room is very easy and, you're going to come in, turn on the switches and go, but nothing but hell. You can cut that out if you want, or you can change it to heck, whatever you want to do. It was tough. There were so many things we didn't think about. It was pretty amazing. And then the involvement, met you.
Yeah.
You introduced me to some wonderful people. Minika, who is now our engineer
producer,
in-house, our producer, engineer. I bring young people in like a Tyler and L'Oreal who thank me every day for having the opportunity to do what they love, which is shooting, editing, lighting, producing, directing. And now we have interns. We have.
Yeah.
It's overwhelming.
It's grown a lot since I met you.
It's beautiful.
Met you about a year ago now.
Just about a year ago, yeah.
Yeah.
About a year ago.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It was a beautiful day when we met.
How does it make you feel to see people coming in and out of here, like all different styles of shows get filmed here too?
All different styles of shows.
How does that make you feel specifically as pulling the trigger on making this happen?
It's very emotional for me, Vin, because the original reason for opening it up was to give people a voice.
Yeah.
Because I felt it's needed in this world now, and not many people have it. So I don't censor anyone here unless they're doing something illegal. We won't let that happen in here.
Of course.
But how it makes me feel is completely fulfilled, very emotional, because I watch a lot of the shows as they're taping, and they're very diverse in who comes in.
Definitely.
And I see the way when they sit in the chair and the lights go on and the camera goes on, we're touching people. We are changing the direction of their life ever so slightly or major. And I see this change in people, and I see the love that they give not only myself but the people that are here, how thankful they are. It's the most rewarding experience I've ever had in my life. And I'm so grateful for it. And it's exploding.
Now, you've been able to use what you've built here and take it back into the community, both on a personal and on a business level. What are some of the things that you're doing for the community at large as a person of Santa Clarita and a Santa Clarita business?
I really believe in Santa Clarita, and I'm a big proponent of this town because it's a great town. So to answer your question, since the studio's been open, I'm now on 2 boards out here, and I joke, this idiot from Bensonhurst, Brooklyn is now on 2 boards, and like the only thing boards I knew were boards that we hit people over the head with back in the day, right? 2x4s, right?
Come on.
But I'm on 2 boards, Yes I Can, which is an amazing organization that helps and guides young autistic adults to get into the entertainment industry. In fact, SCV Studios, Podcast SCV, that's the parent company. We have 2 interns here now. They're amazing.
I hope I can meet them at some point.
You will
soon.
meet them. No,
Cool.
they're amazing.
Looking forward to it.
Just so, I never saw anything like it. And and my staff, not my staff, the staff, our staff here,
Gotcha.
teaches them so much. And it's such a great meld of people. And the second board I'm on is the College of the Canyons Theater Guild, which I'm blown away by to be involved in that. I also speak at the city council here in town. And I help a lot of businesses that have come into town navigate the terrain on how to get acceptance for coming in. One of them is Shadowbox Studios. I had a very small, minor involvement there, but they did ask me to speak on their behalf at the city council. And they're coming into town, which I think is going to be a great thing for Santa Clarita. They're going to bring jobs in here. It's going to be a major studio complex coming in, and it's going to be fantastic. And I open the studio up. If someone can't pay, and I hope this doesn't bite me in the you-know-where later, but if someone's tight for money and they really want to come in and I feel it's going to change their direction, I let them come in.
Yeah.
And eventually they end up paying what needs to be paid eventually anyway, but opportunities.
What goes around comes around.
Goes around comes around. And opportunities is all we can give. And some take advantage, but a lot of people don't.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, good people flow to good people. And
100%, Vin. 100%.
You've been on a big fitness journey since I met you. Tell me about that. How you vibrate like in a room. Like, you bring a lot of vibrance.
Thank you. That's very kind of you.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, tell us about how that's been and what being active has done for you.
Well, I believe that we have amazing opportunities in our lives to do whatever we want, and if you have your health, your body should be something you master, and a lot of people don't. And I've been very lucky. I've actually been able to master my body. I'm in the gym twice a day.
Yeah.
I do crazy thing called hot spin classes.
There you go.
At a great place in town called Get Sweat Studios. If you don't know about it, you should check it out. It's amazing.
Shout out.
And yeah, they're amazing. They're worth it. But it helps. I believe the mind, body, soul connection. And when I feel like I'm at the top of my game physically, which amazingly I am now at this stage of my life, I can do anything. And I think if more people focused on their body and their needs on how to feel better, their lives would be better.
Yeah. It plays a whole part. Physical leads to mental and emotional.
It really does. It really does. Plus you're healthy and you live longer, which is we all want that, right?
That is true.
I'm grateful for existence. And people ask me what I'm grateful for. I'm grateful for existence, because without existence, we don't have anything. Right? We're not here. Obviously, we're not here. Right? So,
with that, I'm gonna bring it into a little rapid fire section. Get into some quicker questions. Do you have your own favorite movie? Like, what's your favorite movie?
I have many, but I'll say the movies that when you know what's on TV, you watch it. Goodfellas, Casino. Most of them are Italian genre. Of course, The Godfather.
Yeah. It's the same.
Any Andy Garcia movie now I love, because I was with Andy the other night. So
nice. Yeah. You showed me a picture. It's pretty cool. Do you have a favorite TV show, like the past or present?
Ironically, I don't watch TV too much, but I enjoy Seinfeld. I enjoy Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Oh, cool. Larry David guy.
I'm a Larry David guy. I think it's brilliant what he does, and some of the people he has together are brilliant. I love The Office, of course, which is a brilliant show.
Cool.
A lot of shows I can't think of now, but I have a top 10.
Any sports teams that you're a fan of?
I'm a big New York Mets fan. Awful year, but I believe
they just fired. What's his name?
They got fired. They fired Buck Showalter.
Buck
they
Showalter.
got rid of the GM. I'm a big New York Giants fan, so there's double misery.
Yeah, right.
I'm a Rangers fan and a Knicks fan.
Oh wow, you're really shooting
not
on all cylinders.
Yeah, all cylinders. I'm shooting blanks on all 4 cylinders.
Favorite meal?
Well, it's gonna be another shout out, but when I moved out here, I felt like I was in the witness protection program then, because I'd walk down my street, I want a slice of pizza, I came out here, I couldn't find it. My cousin Frankie owns a restaurant in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Saved my ass when I moved out here. So I would think my favorite meal is chicken parmesan with a side order of penne.
There you go.
And if you love chicken parmesan, you should go to Frankie's and give it a try and make your own choice. But that's my thing.
Yeah, it was nice. We had dinner there a couple times.
I don't eat it much anymore, but I eat very well now. But that's my favorite.
Nice.
Pizza,
so it's a guilty pleasure.
It's a guilty pleasure. And pizza, of course, if I can find it. But in New York, I can find it. So.
Zodiac sign.
I'm Scorpio.
Nice. Yeah, good to know. I'm just documenting all this for everyone. Someone from history you'd love to have dinner with.
I would say Fred Astaire.
Nice.
Strange answer maybe, but I listen to a lot of that older music now, and I love the simplicity of it.
Yeah.
And I think there's a certain goodness to it. And there's probably many more, but that's the first person that came to my mind.
Cool. Yeah, that's your answer. So we're going to close out here. What's next for Anthony Gigante, and how can the people connect with you if you'd like to be connected with?
Well, thank you, Vin. What's next is endless. I feel like we're at the cusp of something amazing, and it's a very calm feeling. I'm excited about growing this studio into something extraordinary, and it's happening on its own.
Nice.
This is my little baby here, and I'm grateful for my career. I'm going to a new company which is kind of going back home again. It's a company called Fuse Technology Group.
Yeah.
And a lot of my old friends from VER are there, and they accepted me, and I'm grateful for that acceptance. And I'm going to be starting there in a couple of weeks, and I'm super excited about that because it's really going to open up my world to so many other things. And I've been grateful for everything,
I'm excited for you too. We'll share all the links for Anthony.
The best way to get in touch with me is on ourfightingspirit.com. You can reach me there, or of course Podcast SCV.com. And you can get me in both of those websites, and I'll get back to you. And if anyone wants an opportunity to have a voice, to come in and do something maybe they never wanted to do before, that's what our studio is about.
I could definitely attest to that.
Thank you, Vin.
There's a solid commercial for the studio. You know, it's been an amazing run here. They've provided way more than I ever expected. So
we're honored to have you here, Vin, because you are doing amazing things.
Thank you.
And your podcast has come a very long way.
Yes, it has.
And it's quite extraordinary. And I'm excited for you about all the future things coming your way. There are going to be many.
Thank you.
It's going to be many.
Appreciate it. Glad to be sharing a little bit of it with you.
Thank you, Vin.
But appreciate you coming on.
Vin, thank you. God bless you, buddy. Appreciate you, buddy. Thank you.